Hey there fellow creators, Ben here from Cinder Studios, and this week I want to talk to you guys about my favorite drawing paper you've probably never heard of. Stick around. So finally I'm making another one of my awesome art tools videos, trying to do more of these in the past, where I kind of highlight some kind of material that you guys probably haven't seen before or is a lot less common to inspire you guys to get creative and make more things. So this particular type of paper is something you probably haven't heard before for drawing, because it's not drawing paper, it's writing paper. This stuff is from an art company we do know called Strathmore. They make a lot of different things, but they make this paper in particular. And this is not, rather than bright white like printer paper, it's like they call it ivory, since it's a slight off-white, as you can see. It is 25% cotton wove 24-pound writing paper, 8.5 by 11. There's 500 sheets in this thing. Actually, probably there's a little bit less. I've used a few. Which is 90 GSM. And yeah, it's paper. But what's so different about this stuff, really? Well, the cotton weave in this paper is kind of what makes it special here. Even feeling it, compared to other drawing papers, it's sort of a silky smooth texture. Definitely designed to do more stationary writing, but for whatever reason, it's actually really awesome for graphite. Okay, I know what you're thinking. There's no way this pack of paper can be this good. Well, the thing is, it's not really great paper for finished drawings. I wouldn't do a large-scale drawing of any kind or even frame anything, and this is acid-free paper, but this isn't strictly something you will probably be using on a lot of projects. It is really fun to sketch with, though, and that's really why I'm highlighting it today. The biggest reason why I would not use this on a finished project is because there's actually a watermark right here, which does show through. I don't know how much it shows up as you're working, but I'll show you that as I'm going a little bit further down the road here. Now, as a general comparison, so this paper, as I mentioned before, is 24 pounds. Now, a lot of people, especially beginners, will just grab a piece of regular white printer paper. Actually, the two side by side, you can actually see that color difference quite drastically. It's a lot less harsh on the eyes than a bright white paper can be, and it's a lot less intimidating for that reason. Now, regular printer paper is 15 pounds, so it's a lot thinner. Not a ton thinner, but thin enough that you run into some problems, especially even just laying it down on my table here. You can actually see that it's somewhat transparent. In fact, if I get another sheet down here, you guys can see, I mean, it is, yeah, a little bit maybe, but nowhere near as transparent as the printer paper. And it's generally just a lot nicer. So again, by comparison, printer paper, which I don't recommend anybody use for their drawing, its problem is it's too smooth. There's really no tooth to printer paper. Now, a lot of people do like that, but if any chance you're working on any kind of a different support, different table, this paper will pick that texture up. Might be really nice for rubbing and things like that, but the texture, rather than being on the paper, picks up the cardboard texture underneath me. Not necessarily the best. I mean, it does work. You can certainly sketch with it, but this paper generally is not acid-free, known to yellow over time. Designed to print documents on, not to draw on. Now, the next logical step up for most people is just some regular artist-grade drawing paper or sketch paper. My regular day-to-day sketch paper is some Canson sketch, which I think is around 30 to 45 pounds. This drawing paper is 70-pound paper. This is generally the nicer stuff. You get a little bit more tooth. You can do a lot more with it. The pencil just kind of glides right across it. And, you know, it feels a lot better. And now we have this stuff, the Watermarked Strathmore writing paper. So what's so special about this? Well, for the first thing is I feel like it's a great middle ground between the super thin printer paper that's really terrible and you shouldn't use it, and the slightly more expensive pads of regular drawing paper, as that it gives you that smooth laydown that you get out of the printer paper, but it doesn't sacrifice the little bit of tooth you need for a good drawing. I'm going to grab a darker pencil here. So for this, first I'm just going to come across the watermark here. It's actually picking a little bit off of the, hold on a second, picking a little bit of that cardboard up. But I do know that as you rub across this, you will be able to see that watermark. So that text does show up. It is barely there, but it's probably not something you want in your drawing itself. But what's great about this in terms of sketching is as you work, and it depends, I mean, it can depend a little bit on your pencil, lighter pencils, darker pencils. But this particular paper, stay there pencil, feels to just kind of accept and have that pencil glide. Now one thing you will notice with, again, a cheaper paper, you lay down any kind of thick graphite and take your hand across that, you're going to be smearing that around a lot easier. This paper, well, certainly gives you the option to do so, as a good drawing paper would. I'm not worried about smearing, running my hand back and forth here. I'm not picking up anything doing that. It accepts the pencil, really allowing you to do pretty much whatever you want with it. And whether it's a harder lead pencil or this thicker 6B, reach behind me for an H, the pencil just kind of glides. You don't feel the tooth of this paper. It is there, and as you can see as I'm working here, there is a slight tooth here. It's not overpowering. You're not limited to what you're doing in your sketches by like, either the tooth is too textured and that's all you see, or there's no tooth on the paper and it just looks completely flat. That's why I really like this stuff. It gives you the option to sketch with ease, especially with graphite, and do all kind of different things you might not expect out of a pack of fairly cheap paper. So that's just a quick look at this Strathmore writing paper and why it's actually really great just for sketching in graphite. Actually, now that I'm looking at this one, it seems that watermark might actually not be in the same position on every page. This one, it's on top. This one is kind of in the middle. I guess it kind of depends on how they cut the sheet down. But it's really interesting paper. I remember having a couple sheets of it when I was a kid, and my art studio was still just a table in the corner of a room. I held on to the initial sheet of it, and a couple of years ago, I ended up buying this pack of paper for it. Of course, you're probably thinking, all right, watermark's sort of maybe a downside, and yeah, it certainly is. But this is a lot of paper. This has got to be a decent amount of money. Well, you're talking like 30 bucks on Amazon. And for 500 sheets of paper, that's a pretty damn good deal. So that's my tip for this week, is for you guys to check out some of this awesome paper if you haven't already found it before. This stuff's really cool, and I hope you guys give it a try, because as far as sketching with graphite goes, this stuff is just so awesome to work with. So if you happen to have tried this stuff before, let me know in comments below. I'm pretty sure this might be in somebody's stash somewhere, but probably not for drawing, and I can guarantee that a lot of you probably have never thought of using writing-specific paper for drawing. So, as always, if you enjoyed this, hit the like button, get subscribed if you're not already, consider checking out my art and other social links in the description box below, including a community Discord. This has been reminding you to keep on creating, and I will see you guys next time.